And then my mom's like, you can just buy an iPad from Costco, because everybody loves Costco. So, okay.
I love Costco.
So, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Stefan Speaks, storytelling through narrative life experiences. Today, we're here with Max Humphrey. Max is a professional MMA fighter from Orange County, California. Max, I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate you having me.
No problem. So let's just get into it.
Alrighty. Just for clarification, I haven't been back to the West Coast in over 15 years.
Really?
Yeah, so that's technically where I was born, but that's not like where I'm from, you know.
So where are you from originally? I mean, you were born
Yeah.
in Orange County, which is Huntington Beach.
Basically, yeah.
Huntington, Newport, Laguna
Yeah.
area.
Well, from there we moved to, me and my mother, we moved to South Korea.
Why South Korea?
Mom just wanted to go. She taught English, and she worked at the U.S. Embassy Club.
Oh, she did, really?
She was food, wine, and beverage director.
Okay.
And, I went to school, I had a babysitter, I did the whole bit. And we were there for,
So how many different languages do you know? Or what dialects?
well, I did pick up a lot of Korean while I lived there because I was so young. I guess it was just easy to you know.
Yeah, there's kind of like an age where you just more assimilated into
Right.
culture and language. So how old were you when you went there?
3 to almost 7.
I was just going to say that probably 3 to 5 age gap is when
Yeah.
you learn the most,
So-
and your brain's just growing and absorbing. So
Like the main thing I remember is the mountains, sledding, the water, and then the food.
so there's quite a bit of snow out there.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Then they've got these really cool. They're like walking gardens that go right through the mountains. Man, it looks like something out of a storybook or something. But me and my mom, we used to run through there.
Kind of reminds me of the Karate Kid when there's those scenes where everything is so perfectly manicured, and
Yeah,
you'll
the
see
bonsai trees.
yeah, or when you'll see pictures of the rice paddies from 10, 15,000, it looks like it was drawn with a pencil.
Right.
Yeah.
Just, but from there, we moved back to Missouri, and then I went to go live with my dad.
Okay.
And we lived.
How old were you at this point?
8.
8. So do you remember specifically taking the flight over and everything?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Then from we moved to North Carolina. We moved twice there,
Okay.
and then from North Carolina to Tennessee. And
So you're maybe around 10 now.
11, 12, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Fix that real quick.
Oh, sure.
We got to get the kind pen in there. It's a
Alright.
personal vaporizer.
Right.
Okay.
I love this thing, man.
No, when I first put my
Pants.
fingers on there, to be honest, it felt like something I can go to
Yeah.
sleep in or go like
For
run
sure.
errands on a Saturday somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
And the pants you got on too, so
Yeah. It was badass.
might
They're
want to
super-
stand up real
super
quick, kind of
comfy.
show the camera.
That's great.
Yeah. No, they're really nice and
Super comfortable.
yeah.
I love them. But from North Carolina to Tennessee, and that's where I ended up staying the longest. So that's where I say I'm from.
So did you go to high school out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did
Yeah.
you wrestle in high school?
Yes.
So
All
what
but
sports did you play growing up?
All of them except baseball and basketball, really.
Yeah, because the basketball season, I believe, if I remember from high school, was during the wrestling season, which was always winter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually it was.
Did you do track then in the spring?
Yeah, I did track, but not for track. It was mainly for wrestling. Like
Did you do like a shot put or javelin for the strength or?
I wanted to do javelin, and then they ended up taking it out of sports where I was at, like the year of.
So when I went to high school in 89 to 93, we had shot put and disc, but no javelin. But then there was a couple instances where people were getting hit with the disc, outside of the realm. And I don't think they took it out yet, but I think they eventually did. This is in Illinois sports.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like
Because people would literally just get it, they'd be running around the track, they wouldn't be paying attention, and, they're throwing a disc 200-300 feet. Shot put, I think it was 30-40, but.
Right, yeah, if you're throwing at 200, you're
And the javelin, I'm assuming, is several hundred feet?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the world record is like the football field, isn't it? or isn't there like a big popular?
So that would
highlight?
be, because 1 foot is, a yard is 3 feet, so that'd be a
Right.
little bit over 300 feet then.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
But-
did you play any sports in the fall?
I played football all growing up.
Okay.
And then,
So Pop Warner and all that fun stuff.
oh yeah.
So what
we
kind of
rode
gravitated you
motorcycles.
more towards, was it football at first and you kind of found wrestling, or what happened?
When I found wrestling, everything else just pretty much quit. I wish I'd have found that one earlier.
And that was at what age? Is that like a vivid memory for you?
I was 8th grade summer going into freshman year.
Did you go to like some type of camp or
Yeah, I
something?
went
or?
to like a real local, which I didn't even know the difference at the time, but it was a Greco.
Greco-Roman wrestling?
Yeah.
So-
and then,
For the average person, because I think of wrestling, I think of Greco-Roman as the Olympics.
Right.
What exactly is Greco? Why do they call it Greco-Roman, or what's the style?
well, it's upper body. It's not. You can't attack the legs. Like there's no double leg. There's no blast double. Like it's.
It's funny you
it's
say that, because I
throws.
never could understand why they just stood up the entire time and kind of went back and forth in the
Yeah.
Olympics, but now this makes sense. So
Yes. So it's basically judo without the gi.
judo without the gi.
Yeah, and the guys
Okay.
that really did Greco would probably kill me if they heard me say that. But
So for people that are listening and don't really understand what jiu-jitsu is or what a gi, kind of explain it to the average person.
well, the gi's the pajamas. Like that's the.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, being in South Korea, I'm sure you've seen a lot of pajamas.
That's just traditionally what they wear whenever they did Japanese jiu-jitsu, and that's where the Brazilian comes from,
So did jiu-jitsu start in Korea?
Japan.
Japan, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. That could be like
Because I think when I spoke to one of the other coaches, I believe he said it was either Japan or China, but I want to say Japan, and then Brazil picked it up, but they have their own philosophy. And
well, they changed it. Like they made it more ground effective. You know what I mean? Like judo is a big part of Japanese jiu-jitsu from my understanding.
okay,
Well, their concentration was to get the takedown. All right, and you got to think back in that day. All right, you're wearing your gi, you've got on some armor, some guys attacking you with a sword, like all these big throws. That's where all this comes from, because somebody's rushing at you, trying to cut your fucking head off, man. Like so.
yeah, because I
That's-
think they said it was designed more just for self-defense because if you didn't have a
Yeah.
weapon, you needed to throw the person, correct? Kind of like when they're coming at you, they throw you to the side.
Because basically they have to attack you. So the basis of self-defense style martial arts and all of that is a force coming at you, and if that's happening, then you can always manipulate it and use their weight against them,
Okay.
especially if they're trying to use two hands to attack you.
And this is going back, I'm assuming, several thousand years.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So have you actually put in your hand like some of the swords that were thousands of years old in the body armor?
Well, I don't know if they were that old or not, but I've been in armor and I've been with weapons before.
So how much does that weigh for the average person?
Your armor can weigh whatever you're comfortable with.
So a chest plate might be 20, 30 pounds? Is it steel
no,
or?
it's too heavy.
No?
The whole kit would probably be around 65 or 70.
Is it fairly thin or thick?
It depends on your materials. If
Okay.
you've got, leather and chainmail and then plates, or if you've got overlapping like iron and lamellar, it just
Yeah,
depends.
kind of
on
like
what
that
style
offset
and
with
what-
the shoulders,
what
where
age,
the articulating shoulders and everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think,
Because I think a lot of that's lacquered wood and iron together.
have you ever been to London?
No.
Okay. There's, in central London, it's not the House of Commons. It's where they have all the gold and like all the body armor. And it was shocking to see that the stuff was 500 to 1,000 years old.
I didn't know they had.
House of London, that's what it's called, the House of London. And they kind of have period pieces from
That's
all
cool.
throughout history. And you're looking at this stuff, it doesn't look real. Like the diamonds, the rubies,
Oh, it's
just the body
costume.
armor.
Yeah.
and it doesn't look real, but you think to yourself, they created this stuff 500 years ago. No CAD, no nothing, just a pencil and a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to the Gettysburg Memorial and
Never
Museum.
been out there.
And with my grandparents, and you'll look at some of the authentic uniforms. They
Mm-hmm.
look like children. They're only like 5 foot tall, full grown men uniforms.
Really?
Yeah, they're super tiny people. They're little bitty.
But didn't they have people that were lying about their age and they're only like 12 and 13 and 14?
Sure, I'm
Yeah.
sure that happened.
Yeah.
But for the most, like it, there was just a noticeable size difference
Okay.
in what, like, you and I would be fucking giants, and I don't consider
Yeah,
either
I
of
mean,
us
I'm
big guys.
5'10" and you're,
5'11".
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big dude, and we would have been almost a foot taller, or almost a whole head taller than what we were looking.
have you ever been out to Las Vegas and the Hoover Dam?
No, I have not.
I was in Vegas last summer for a marketing tour, and I love national parks. I decided to stay out by the Hoover Dam, did a lot of cycling, and you think to yourself, they created this in 1923, over 5 years with no CAD, just a sheet of paper, a pencil, a slide ruler, and that's it.
That was
And
crazy.
they built it in 5 years. And that's how the hard hat kind of came about. But you look at this, it's just massive. And to think they built this.
Isn't it, what, 400 feet or something?
It's something stupid, but you look at it, it doesn't look real. The way the dam is built and everything, so.
I don't know. I've seen pictures and how it like bows in and goes.
Yeah,
like,
it almost like slopes
yeah.
up
And
and,
that makes sense because that arch is like the strongest shape,
yeah,
Uh,
it's
and it's probably designed that way for the water pressure.
yeah, because
to, like,
the
press
pressure's
on.
coming this way, you
Yeah.
got a force coming up rather than a straight wall because
Right.
of how it's sloping up. Yeah.
That's pretty neat. That's cool.
So let's get back to your high school career in
Sure.
wrestling. Take us through freshman year. How did that go?
I got my ass kicked a whole lot.
By people your age or by?
Sure.
Okay.
Both. Like my first wrestling match, it probably lasted 19 seconds. I got this Okie guy, and it wasn't good.
Okay.
Yeah, I had one, not even a full season experience yet.
Talking about your first match, how long was your first MMA match? Or 19 seconds?
Like 52.
And did you win or lose?
Oh, I won.
You won. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I was 7-0 when I took my first loss.
As an amateur?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to high school. Let's kind of cover wrestling first, and then how did migration happen?
Sure.
So it's freshman year. It went good, bad, or indifferent?
Not bad. I finally started getting the hang of it. I got more experience as I went down,
Okay.
and I think I ended up like,
What are you weighing back then? 130, 140?
yeah, like 125.
And then you're walking around weight right now because you're, 2 weeks out of fight camp? In fight camp, I'm sorry.
No, it's about 24 days, I think.
24 days. So what are you, about 190 right now?
I try to be, but I'll go to sleep at 190 and I'll wake up at 187.
Yeah, and you told me the other day that
Yeah.
when you were powerlifting, you were up to 220. And that's what I was at one
226.
point. So,
But I look like I weighed 250. Like,
yeah, because we're 5'10", we're at that height where we have a good amount of muscle, and depending on the angles and how lean you are, you can look a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So, let's go back to MMA and kind of wrestling at the same time. You fought at 185. Have you fought at 220?
No.
No?
No. When I decided to do MMA, like powerlifting, that went away. I was lifting twice a day.
Probably eating 6,000
I was
calories
eating
a day.
6,000 calories a day. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and smash a pound of lasagna and go back to sleep.
And were you gaining weight, or you
Oh,
were
yeah.
doing it just to maintain?
No, I was gaining. We were hard gaining at the time because
So what were were you squatting? What were you deadlifting?
my best squat was 605 and my deadlift was 495.
And how old were you?
25. 24, almost 25. Yeah.
So what kind of made you take a step back from powerlifting?
MMA.
MMA?
Yeah, but I also one of the things that got me looking for something else was what my goal was to hit 500 pounds on the squat. That was the goal, and I made that.
That's parallel, I'm assuming,
And-
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and
The only way to go.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're going in the bucket.
Were
I
you
can't
squatting
look at
raw?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I wear a weight belt.
That's to me, that's still kind of raw. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, I'd wear a belt. but like no knee wraps or like a belt and a set of Timberlands.
Well,
Like,
no, it's funny because nowadays you see guys walking into the gym, and I never wear a belt because that's where all your core power is coming from. They're wearing
they would the
belts
guys that I
wrapped
lift,
with
the
150
guys that I
pounds.
lifted with, they wouldn't even let you. They wouldn't even let you put it on unless they deemed that the weight that you were moving was worthy of a belt.
Unless you're moving
Like
400 or 500 pounds and you're going for a max squat, your core should be strong enough. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it.
Yep.
Because your core is where the power. I mean, that's why most people's
core and the
backs
hips.
they go like this. Their backs literally fall forward, and they're about to dump the weight. And if you don't have that core in your hips, you're done.
Yep.
So did that really help you when you started in MMA? All that power from the hips?
Okay, there's a medium. It's like yes and no. I mean, sure, I was powerful and strong as shit, but I couldn't throw a correct punch at the time.
And you probably had no endurance either, right?
No cardio.
Yeah.
I had to gain all of that. So it literally went from 2-a-days lifting weights, powerlifting style, to flat out MMA style training. No lifting.
And that happened at what age?
Almost 25.
Okay.
Like we're talking like within 3 or 4 months probably.
So let's go back to high school. Let's kind of wrap up high school quickly. So how did sophomore and junior year go and senior year? Did you make it to state, conference?
Yeah, I made it to state senior year, and I ended up losing to the guy that got second.
Okay.
So I didn't place.
Did you go to a big wrestling school?
No.
No.
No, wrestling was very looked down upon, like at our place. Unfortunately,
Was it more about football?
Football and basketball.
Okay.
Like, because in the South, everything's football, even if you're
Yeah, that
even if
is
your
true.
team, even if your
Yeah.
team's garbage. And then basketball, because we had a really good basketball team, guys and girls actually.
So did a
And
lot
our
of the
track- and our
basketball
track
players from your school end up going to the Big Ten?
You know, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's senior year, you lose at state, you took third?
No. I lost to the guy who got second place, and who ended up placing second in state.
Okay.
But I got put out second round.
And how many rounds are there at state?
I think there's 5.
Okay.
I think
Almost
there's
sounds like it's like a round robin type of tournament.
Yeah, I think you had to make it to the third round before it was a double elimination.
So is it kind of like NCAA where you have your bracket here, you have your bracket here, and then you just kind of?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm curious, the guy that beat you in one state, did they end up continuing their career in MMA, or they pretty much quit after that?
I have no idea, Bob.
Okay.
I didn't even, at the time, I didn't care enough to even know who they were.
Did
I
you
was
even
just-
know what MMA was in high school?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched.
And
I
then what
loved-
year is
I
that?
loved Matt Hughes. I
Okay.
used to watch. Matt Hughes used to be the man. I used to watch that guy
Oh.
like all the time.
I went to college with Matt.
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't tell you?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, went to college with Matt, Brian Ebersol. I was really good friends with Brian, used to hang out all the time. Matt, I knew of Matt. It's a very small school. I think we had 8,000 or 9,000 kids. I believe he was a bartender at a bar called Sticks, which doesn't exist anymore. I forgot how I met Brian. We used to play. Some of my favorite memories of Brian is honestly just playing ping pong all day in the rec. We go work out, we start playing ping pong. And then I seen him one of his matches, I think it was like 2002, 2003, like literally went to a casino, middle of nowhere. And he was in a boxing ring instead of an MMA octagon. I don't remember if he won or lost. He gave me his gloves. I kept those for a couple years. I was at my parents' house one day. I found them, just kind of like threw them away. This was before he got into the UFC.
All right.
So, and then I believe he fought, I want to say 6 times. And I think he got called up because somebody got sick or just couldn't fight. And that's how Brian got called up. And now I believe he lives in Australia. I want to say Sydney. He's got, I think, 1 child and he's married. Haven't talked to him in years. So
Very cool.
that's my connection to MMA.
Nice.
And then I went to college with Tony Romo, had him in the class. And then the GM for the Chicago Bears, we have a picture, actually senior year in a bar. My buddy told me, and he used to see him in the gym all the time, said hi every now and then. You see him in a bar and just say hi. And now he's a GM for the Bears.
Cool.
That's my high school career right there. I mean, sorry, college career and famous people, so. So we're done with senior year. Did you get recruited for college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where'd you go to college?
Well, we're skipping.
Sorry, let's go back on.
Junior year.
Oh, you got pistachios. I hate you. The whole thing's gonna be gone.
Eat 'em, bro.
Sponsored by Costco and
Costco.
Kirkland.
Bro, that would be a hell of a fucking sponsor. Imagine being sponsored by Costco. But,
Here's a funny question about Costco. I noticed because I worked the marketing tour for what's Walmart's brand? Sam's Club? Yeah, Sam's Club.
yeah.
The average spend, what I was told was, average family of four spends $300 for a cart. I can walk in there with nothing, being single, and spend $100 on nothing in Costco.
I spend $100 almost every time I go there, and
And it's almost on nothing, right?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I still love, my favorite thing about Costco is actually their chickens. Their $5 chicken weighs like 4 pounds.
Smith's has that too.
Yeah, but it's not as big. Smith's is more of a West Coast thing. I noticed it. Smith's is really big in California. But I think once you kind of get out of Arizona, in this area, Smith kind of disappears.
I think it just probably gets replaced with Kroger.
I think they're owned by
Food
Kroger.
Lion.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in high school. I'm sorry, we're freshman year in high school, in college.
No.
No?
Junior year, high school, I joined the infantry. So my junior summer going into senior year,
ROTC.
I was in Fort Benning.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused. How can you join the infantry?
It's called a split op program.
Okay.
Yeah, because originally I joined the National Guard.
Okay. Is that your phone?
Yeah, that was the.
Okay, just turn it off. You're not that important today.
Yeah. So 2006, I'm 17, and that was part of the agreement with my dad to get him to sign since I wasn't 18. He wanted me to do the National Guard first.
So was your father career military?
He was in the military, but he wasn't full career. He got out. He was guard of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington D.C.
Okay.
So.
So was he in any of the? Was he in Vietnam?
Nope.
No.
No, no, he's not old enough for that. I think he did his 6 and then got out. Yeah, because I think he went back home. I think he got when he got out in Washington D.C. My uncle Mark went and picked him up, and then they moved back to Missouri. I think is how it went.
Okay.
So I had a scholarship to wrestle at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, but I decided to go Army, so I quit that. So I gave that up. So after state, that was my last wrestling match. So I was going to go back to college after I rejoined the military, have them pay for it, and then just wrestle then. That was my plan. That's what I thought I was going to do.
Okay.
I thought I'd be able to pull that out. But that didn't happen. I ended up having, everything was set. It was good to go. And I would have switched over from National Guard to full active. And I was on my way to Afghanistan. And
This is what year?
I think it's like 2007.
Okay.
Or at the very, very beginning of like 2008. Right around in there. I have a Jeep rollover accident with my dad.
Yeah, you told me about that the other day. What happened?
And we were fixing. I drove a '78 CJ5 all through high school.
Okay.
It had no top, no doors. Like
Seatbelt?
nope. Like it was we put seatbelts in it later, but it was just a lap belt because we had to install it ourselves because it didn't come with them.
Back in the 70s, they didn't come with seatbelts at all?
They weren't operable. They
Okay.
had them. They just didn't. They just were shit. They didn't work. I mean, it's been sitting. It sits outside. You know, like I could go mudding and 4-wheeling and go pull into the car wash and I could blow out the inside of my truck.
Interesting.
I mean, it's got like if it was raining, I was getting wet. You know, like had 38 1250s on it. That thing was just a beast. The wheelbase on that thing was like that close.
So would you compare it to like a Wrangler Jeep then? Like the size?
Yeah, but it better. Yeah, the Wranglers don't stand to the CJ series. Even the 7s are probably better, and they're longer.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Hold on 1 second. Let me set this before we get into this, because I know you're gonna get into the story.